first of all, I wanted to say a huge thank you to Cyndi Coon for joining us, because I think, and I was wondering if it was going to be Cyndi or her digital twin, but it looks like it's the real one. So, I would say Cindy's the queen of digital twins, but I don't know if you own that one or not, but we'll see.
Well, you know, because I play in a boys club, I'm probably the queen, because it's all a bunch of dudes that I hang out mostly. So this is super fun.
I think well-deserved queendom. I am just going to, as I do, just because I love making, gamma presentations, just going to present a short presentation on digital twins. I think we probably all know what they are, but just in case anyone doesn't. So digital twins, because talking to yourself just got an upgrade. So your digital twin is obviously you, but let's see. So digital twin is a virtual you, like you, but with fewer bad hair days. It can be a digital brain, so capture your thoughts, ideas, and decision making. And it's really handy to interact with. Like, you can chat with your digital twin, you can brainstorm and debate with yourself. Oh goodness, hang on, I need to let someone in. Wait a second. I know I shouldn't have done this way around. I should have made a co-host, but I'll just keep jumping backwards and forwards. All right, so what is a digital twin? Oh, we've done that. Done that screen. So why do you need a digital twin? So this image was inspired by the number 3, which is, like, you know, you can get up in the middle of the night, and you know, your digital twin will just be there ready to help you. It can be a thinking partner who remembers your ideas when you forget, because, like, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of things going on that I just totally forget things, like, all the time. So give those things to your digital twin and they will always remember for you. Get answers from a non-caffeinated you, or a caffeinated you, if that's how you choose to make your digital twin. Your digital twin is always available. So whatever time of day you want to talk to them, they're always there, provided you have an internet connection, I guess. So how does it work? So you feed your thoughts, ideas, questions, and everything that you can think about yourself into your digital twin when you're setting it up, and create so that your AI creates your digital thinking pattern, and then you can chat with it and get all the responses to the questions that you want to ask yourself. Who needs a digital twin? We all need to spark ideas when we get stuck. So writers and creatives is one group, and entrepreneurs. You can say, oh, I've got this really good idea for a business, and like check it out with your digital twin to see if it's harebrained or if they think it's going to work. You can help yourself solve problems. So again, chat with yourself about solutions to things that you need to solve. And self-talkers, now you have a legitimate excuse to talk to yourself. The final thought, so your digital twin won't do your laundry yet, but it will help you think, plan, and create whenever you need it. So it, regardless of like what mood you're in, what's been going on in your day or whatever, like your digital twin is always going to be thinking clearly. It's going to help you organize your thoughts better, which I need that for sure. And it will help you produce better work. But there is, I said final thought, there is one more thing. So there is another level to digital twins. So what the ones we're talking about today is just a digital twin for yourself, focused on personal use. But there are, and Cyndi, you can probably help us on this one. There are digital twins out there that help in a number of industries. So they're way more complicated than just like feeding all your stuff into this, you know, like a custom GPT or something. They can help businesses forecast outcomes. They can help build machines. They can help plan cities, that kind of thing. And then the advanced AI systems that use sensors and data with their digital twins to predict the future with a sophisticated AI. But don't worry, yours won't suddenly start running your life unless you tell it to. So that is the end of my little thing, my little presentation. So I'm going to hand over to Cyndi for her expertise.
First, I want to agree with Boulder Barbie and say, as soon as I jumped on the call, I had to compliment Vicki on those images too, because she put them on the LinkedIn and I saw them and I was like, ah, those are so good. So good. Um, they are. I love them. I know they're her Mid-Journey. Oh, they're so good. First, digital twins as a big picture. I just thought I would talk this a few words and then I'll say things. And I'll show some things and I'll have some things I can share that I'll put somewhere or get to Vicky to get to you or something. So, and I don't have all the things prepared because in my defense, Vicky asked me recently and I was like, yes. So digital twins do know that the concept of digital twinning of rooms, buildings, cities already goes on. So that is a whole industry that exists. If you're not familiar, it's super cool. And I just hung out with a friend at South by who is with a company that they create AR digital twinning experiences so that things can appear in front of you on the street, hold buildings and things, but they're AR. So there's all the stuff there with things that are object-based. What doesn't really exist yet as an industry is human digital twinning. So what I'm going to talk about today is our early ideas on how we're doing this. And knowing that, thank you, Vicky. Yes, thank you. That I just got back from a nerd fest, y'all, at South by, and I just am like, I'm still in like nerd speak. So catch me, please. Yes. So I want to say a few things first to level set your understanding of what goes into one of these things. So I'm a part of a team that we've built over 40 of them. And then on my own and for clients, I've built another probably 10 or 15. 13, I think I counted. It's 13 so far. And I'm building 2 more tomorrow with a client. So they're super fun, but I do want to give you a sense of how did we get to this point? Because I actually think it's valuable and important to kind of know like why what I'm going to tell you, does it matter? So with the group, the Content Evolution Collab, which I'm in with Kyle Shannon, it's a bunch of CEOs. We hang out on Fridays and we make things and do things. And when custom GPTs first came out, that next Friday meeting, we all said, oh my God, what can we do with this? What can we make? What can we build? And so we had the idea of digital twinning right away because we're all CEOs and we're all doing a bunch of things. And oh, wouldn't it be so nice if we could get rid of some things, right? But we didn't know how to build this in the first run. So just to give you a sense of what doesn't work, we tried first by scraping our LinkedIns. And let me tell you, that doesn't work because it's business town. It's not the whole you. And I bet you didn't know this, but in the back end, what's running on LinkedIn, the way that they're suggesting things to you that sometimes you're like, that's an odd job or you know, something. It's because there's a personality, one of those personality type test things that run in the back end of LinkedIn, which we discovered upon our scraping. It's called Ocean. So if you're on there, they're running you through that as a way to give an understanding. Well, here's the problem. Any of you who know me, I'm totally saucy and I'm like that in real life, but on LinkedIn, I'm writing professional things. And sometimes I'm saucy and funny on there too, but not for the most part. I'm posting business things, right? So that thing said I was passive. I was hesitant. I mean, we all laughed. We chuckled because everyone knows me and they're like, well, that's not fitting. So doing scrape of things, because also I'm terrible on social media. So we couldn't really scrape most of my social media. It is like pulling teeth to get me to do anything on social media. So that wasn't effective for most of us. So this is what we learned in the beginning that is what's going to create this for you. Two really important things. The first one, and I'm going to talk about this more, but just to give you a heads up, is you have to build these on a structured interview, period. And I'm going to talk about in a second what that is, but I just want to get these two things out of my head so I make sure to say them. Structured interview. It's vital. I will come back. The other thing, prepare thyself. You can't make one. You can't make just one digital twin because they're not ready. So because we're building them on GPT, and I think even if right now, we've tried a bunch of other stuff too, and you can't create them enough of the whole you, because ultimately you're imagining, I would like a mirrored version of me. That's really not what this is yet, but we have a plan. So that's the first thing, is just prepare yourself for, you're probably going to have to do a few of these. Yes, question. I'll take a sip of water. Oh, you're on mute.
Man, y'all were going to work on the lip reading. Why aren't you doing it? Anyway, I'm wondering if you're thinking you need more than one twin, because like there's the LinkedIn Cyndi and then there's the real Cyndi, and maybe is that what you're thinking? Like you need different versions, or you're just saying it can't all capture you? And
you need different versions, but it's not even about that. So it's not. So let me walk you through that part first, and then I'm going to come back to what to put inside. And then I actually have a kind of handout, but I need to take a logo off it because I made it for someone else, and then I'll give it to you guys though. So I'll do that and get it out. But first of all, okay. So when you build one of these, know that it has to have a key purpose. So it's not like I have a LinkedIn version and even like this work or that work. It actually needs to be really kind of task focused. You need to know before you begin this, like, what are you going to ask of it? What kind of brainstorming buddy partner is it going to be? And that's why you probably want more than one. So as an example, my two most robust twins that I use the most right now, that are the most trained and updated and active, one of them is based on my practice, which I have my books in there in the uploaded knowledge. But the kicker is this interview, and I'm going to talk about those. And then the other one is, what is Cyndi doing in AI? So that one is really robust. Those are my two that I spend the most time with right now, because I use them for virtually everything now. I don't even go to regular ChatGPT unless I'm wanting to use one of the different models, which I can't get from these twins all the time. So just what I mean by purpose, though, is like my AI one. And here, I will drop my AI one in the chat, and you guys can go visit me while we're talking. Coming back. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So that's my my AI twin. And that's the best one to really talk about because they're the one I have to talk too much about my day job. But this one we all sort of understand. So what I was trying to do with that was I wanted to input kind of everything that I was doing in AI and do my best to kind of keep it up. So I have a club at the salon called Prototyping Club, generative AI, I don't know, something prototyping club. So a while ago, one of our sprints was to build an inventory as a group of all the different things we had done in AI. And so that was a really good exercise for me to build this. So I want to just share that one that I just gave you the link, what's inside of there. So you have a sense of what is it pulling from me. So it has a full, CVS sheets that is a full inventory with categories. It has all of my writing that I do about AI. So if I do a Medium article, and then once a month, what I do is I just pull down the old PDF. The way I do that is I don't put each one in. I just have a master PDF. That's all my AI writing. And I keep that on Google Drive. And then when I do, 3 or 4 new ones, I just go dump them into that, make that a new PDF, and I upload that. I do that with all my different things. So I have the, kind of link out sheets to YouTube stuff, and just I've put it into as few documents as I can so that it's more convenient to keep it updated instead of trying to always update all my stuff. So kind of think about it that like, are you going to do it in like a sheet? Are you going to do it in like a doc? And then just keep that out in the world and just keep updating that and then bringing it back in. That's the way to keep it really fresh on whatever the content is. Or if you're doing something you're not updating like that. Yes, Vicki.
I just had a thought. Is it a good idea to use, how ChatGPT gives you memories? Can you use what's in your memories to put in your digital twin?
You mean put it in like the instructions or put it in an upload?
Yeah, either way, I guess. It would probably, depending on how many memories that ChatGPT has collected on you, it might be, a document, I guess.
I mean, I guess you could. It's just, I find those memories suck and I have to go in there and clean them out all the time and try to get it to go, will you please remember that I do not like emojis, but it won't. So that's my life, I don't know.
Yeah.
Can we explore that just for a second? So does your digital twin have a different memory? And like my big thing is memory and persistent memory and having to clear out my ChatGPT memory at times. I want to build that thing that's just like, here are the ways that we can remember certain things, we can pare down certain things, and then we can, we can do distillation every now and then on our memories. Like, does that even exist yet? Or
I don't think so on the memory. Unless somebody knows. But I mean, I still think the way to sort of get it to super behave is use your full instructions. And I'll open mine in a minute if you guys want, and I can show you.
Yeah. I'll figure out.
Yeah, I can show you under the hood of that. I don't know about the memory. I don't believe in it. It's
okay,
not.
well, then maybe I'm thinking of it. Maybe we're thinking of the same thing and I'm just using the term memory, but I don't understand how it's intelligent if 5 days from now I ask it something about my career history and it doesn't remember the thing that I gave it 5 days ago. Like, I don't understand how it's useful if every single time you're starting from scratch. And so
Okay.
maybe it's just me trying to figure out, how do you put that in there? If it's
Yeah.
not memory, maybe it's something else.
Let me show you in a minute. Yeah. I'll open,
Yeah.
I'll show mine, I'll share. Just a couple things just to say that aren't really a show and tell thing. I want to really talk about this interview thing, because this is what makes a digital twin. Even if you put very little in your uploads, I want to give you an example. You could make a digital twin of your grandmother who has no content to upload, but you do an interview with her. Then you can create this twin. So you can even let go of uploading. Well, what you're uploading is the transcript, of course, but I mean, other stuff, you don't really have to. This will run in a conversational style way. With a really good structured interview. So I'm going to talk about building a structured interview. I'll show you some stuff, but this is what I want to say while I have all your attention before I show you things, because this is so important. I cannot stress this enough. We have tested this, and I can tell you, after you have AI help you build a structured interview for yourself, you cannot type it or record it like you're interviewing yourself. You can't. It doesn't work. You have to give those interview questions to someone who knows you pretty well, and they have to interview you. Here's why. Because if you're doing it by yourself, it's long. A structured interview, this should take you like 2 hours to get through, because it needs to be really robust. It needs to have all these elements about you. So and you can break it up, you know, have somebody help you an hour, maybe another hour. But you don't want to kind of just try to urgently get through it, because it will make it flat. We absolutely have evidence of all these categories of when someone tried to type it out, when someone tried to record themselves, when people rushed. The feedback is it doesn't really match. So if you go off and do this, just slow down, take your time, ask someone who loves you to interview you. The deal about that is you will tell a story while you're being recorded, and you'll get to what you feel like that's a conclusion enough. The person who knows you well, if you set them up ahead of time by saying, so if you feel like I should say more about something, like feel free to like pull it out of me and say more. They will do that to you, and they'll say, well, wait, you kind of ended that story a little early. What about this piece or that piece? Remember that? That's what makes these things juicy. So it's like the way they make digital twins of buildings is they have to scan everything, and they have to have the plans, and they have to input all these things. So imagine it for yourself too. Like, you need the whole of you. And it doesn't really actually matter that if you end up wanting a twin that is more work related, you still have to have a bunch of personal. So it just doesn't work otherwise, because otherwise you sound like a LinkedIn robot, and you go like, well, this isn't really useful. What would I use this for? So that the interview is the whole deal. Otherwise, it's just a custom GPT. You're not doing anything other than a custom GPT. So let me share screen here.
So this is awesome. It's fascinating. Thank you for the cautionary tale, because I think a lot of us were going to take that shortcut, like do the self-interview. So thank you very much for leaning into that one. are you gonna give us guidelines on how on the interview and how to do that in-depth interview? I don't want to have all your state secrets, but I think it's like, whoa, how do you do that? So
Yeah, I'm not going to give you my state secrets, but I'll tell you what I am going to give you is I teach this too. So I'm not going to give you our exact proprietary
Right.
structured interview, but I give you a really good thing. So
awesome.
you'll
Thank
get
you.
that. Yes, yes. I'll show you the one on here that is for, it's for a client that I'm doing some stuff for, and I'm happy to show her logo and talk about that. But then I'll go and clean that off, and I'll get Vicky that, or I'll put it somewhere, wherever I'm told, I'll put it. And you guys can have it, because you'll see when I get there, I really do have it pretty structured for you. You just have to work with it. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, so this is the one I just sent you all the link to. So if you haven't made a custom GPT before, that's kind of another thing, but I can do a quickie on that if we need to, but I'm just going to jump into editing right now. So, you know, it's got my instructions, which tells it what to do. And then this is the important part, okay? So you want to think about, again, decide how you're going to engage. So to give you an understanding of how have I been engaging with this twin of mine that knows all of what I've been up to in AI, right? And I try to keep it updated. So what I'm doing with this is I'm going in, I'm using it myself to, let's say someone asks me to put in a proposal for a gig or a workshop or something. I'm going to go into this twin. I'm going to put in what is it they're asking, or who are they, or whatever bit of information I have. And I'm going to have it respond with whatever I'm asking for, an outline for, you know, a workshop or something. The difference with this than with just a custom GPT is that because my interview is in here, and I'll tell you, this interview is different than the interview I'm going to show you next. So I'm going to talk about this in a second, but because my interview is in here, my tone is in here, my style is in here. And then in the instructions, I tell it, you know, reference that. So it responds a lot like me because it has that tonal reflection. That's what makes these unique. And the only way to get it is that interview. So that's what I'm doing with this. Then secondarily, this is on my LinkedIn and it's on my link tree. So if you go to either one of those locations, it's also on my website. If you go to any of those locations, you can engage with this. And what it does for people, they'll go in and ask it a question like, how might Cyndi work with our company that does X with AI? And people have responded to me, oh, that was really great. It sounded like you, and I got a real clear sense of what we might do together. So that's the two use cases that I'm using this one for. So questions, because I was over on the other side. Does someone have a question? I see a hand up. Is that still up? No. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Ask, please.
Sorry. Yeah. So I did have my hand up. And the funny thing is, I'm an old lady of 52, and now I can't remember. Never mind. I'll think of it again.
It's menopause. Oh, the link. Oh, do you want the link to that?
So as you're saying this and giving the link out, I'm thinking this could be a really interesting like pre-sales tool, because like I have like a DevOps, like rapid prototyping environment. People might stop in and say, hey, what can you do for me, Scrum Goddess? And it might do its thing. And then
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it was originally designed, because when we were first trying to figure out like what would be our first use case of why would we build this, it literally was for the reason I'm using it, which is I wanted people to engage with, plus I have another one that's a futurist one that those clients go over and hang out with. And I wanted people to be able to ask me questions, ask me about my methodology without, in advance of taking my time, because then when they get my time, let's move into something more interesting so I don't have to repeat the basics. So for me, it's been really effective because I have, you know, things that don't change. Like in here, my AI mindset stuff, it's like, that's what it is. It is written, it is a thing. That's not going to change. If you want to know about it, you go ask that for a while and get the baseline, and then schedule a call with me and be like, okay, I get where you're going here. Let's talk about how this applies to us. So we just go a little bit faster. So I'm not spending my time on repeat, because I say my same stuff over and over and over and over, and I have it down and I could lay on the floor with my eyes closed and say it. So I felt like, well, then a twin could say it. So that is the main use of the external facing, but I'm sure I use it far more than anybody in the public. So for me, kind of like writing proposals, writing things related to the topics of that twin. I do want to mention the interview in here that was done. We created a structured interview using AI that is about my AI use, my AI stories. So this interview has a little bit different than what I'm about to show you, in that I wanted everything in this one to actually have more AI driven conversation. So there's more AI stories in this than I would normally do. But on this, it was really purposeful because I'm also getting speaking gigs and stuff too. So I wanted people to have that sort of storytelling vibe. So I want to say that because the thing I'm going to share with you, oh, you remember your question? Go while you remember.
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. And it's a stupid question anyway, but I'm always trying to use the right terminology because the dudes just look at you sideways if you don't use the right word. But This is not a custom GPT. It's more advanced. Would we still call it like an LM or an LLM, or like what would we call this? And it's no problem if we don't have an answer right now. Keep your flow.
Yeah, I mean, we're just calling them digital twins for now. I don't know that that's really the right name. I mean, we've also been calling them digital advisors because, you know, we're making them for clients now, who it's helping them brainstorm and, you know, do all the things in their own tone, you know, write emails, help them think through, you know, putting their own content in and knowing their interviews in there, kind of going back and forth. So digital advisors, you know, I think there's room to coin the phrase, but right now this is just the only thing I think we've all sort of thought of. So I don't know. So I don't know how to help the bros who want something. I mean, you know, those of us who started building this, we started building it with someone in our club whose company is to build digital twins. And he has one in this crew. And so, you know, there certainly was an opposition from somebody who has a whole company that makes digital twins of buildings and cities and things. So I don't think we're off. Who knows? Who knows what this will become? One thing I want to say too, because I said prepare to make many. So I do have several of these, and this is what my goal is. And we'll see if it pans out. So the reason I think it's a good idea right now, at this moment, for the next couple of months, to make the commitment to building several of these, even though it is a little time consuming, a little more than the normal stuff, because you can do the first of all. So when you're in chat, you can call up 3 or 4 of them and bring them into a conversation. So that's really helpful. And I do that. So if I'm, I'll go back out and, I'll call in, let's see, this one. And then, so now these two can work together. And so that's something to think about in a really simplified way of like, you can call them in and they can both work together, or 3 or 4 of them, they can work together to create whatever the outcome you're looking for. What I'm imagining though in the grader is if you put the time in for each of these, and then you have it, like even if we end up leaving ChatGPT and going somewhere else, you have the work done, because the ability to braid them is where my belief lives. Meaning, if you make 5 or 6 of these and they're pretty robust and functional, right now, if you had the skills, you could probably, zap those out and get them functioning another way. Not my skill set. But when it's easy times and I don't have to do any work, I will be putting these together to create a whole agent. Because right now it's too much to put all the pieces in one. It won't function. So if you have all these different versions and then eventually we get to put them in, we have the guts for our agents pretty ready. So that's the other reason I just feel like this is a really good idea. It's not like it's lost time. It's you're going to build a really yummy agent in a couple months when that stuff really, really comes out for your use. So let me remember where I did open that. I'm like dirty Kyle Shannon right now. I got so many tabs open. Oh my God. It's terrible. Okay. Do I have to stop sharing to pick another tab?
I think, yeah, if you chose one tab, yeah.
Yeah, I did. All right, hold on. Let me go get this other one.
Oh, JD, I love that. Being able to see into all the conversations, the digital twin is moving. I like that idea.
Wait. Oh, I thought I put it over here. There it is. Okay. Nope, that's not showing up. See, dang it. I just got to do the one thing and accept my limitations. Okay. There we go. Okay. So you'll probably have to, let me see if I can. Oh God, that went a little crazy, didn't it? Okay, so this is something I built, and now since this is open and her logo's up, I'm gonna give a little plug to the STEM Arts Lab, which is a really awesome thing in northern New Mexico that is for young people 15 to 25 to learn about AI, data science, planetary science. It's so awesome. It's so rad. So I made this for her students and I called it an interview guide. And okay, that I can probably try to make a little bit bigger for y'all. Hold on. Okay, and this is what I'll send to you guys because I just put this together with AI. So up here, this is just tips for conducting an interview that you can get ready for. And I should say too, just to like give a little bit of insight on the interview stuff too. That's kind of a huge part of my day job. So I have to interview people constantly. So I've got a lot of skills at interviewing people. So putting that together, just are little bitty tips. So I just threw that in there. But then what becomes, oh, that's so small. There. So here's kind of my notes on what I'm kind of talking about, and I'll clean this up, like I said, because this is a little bit specific to the STEM arts, but it's not going to be that much different. I'll just kind of change out but you got to think about, what are you going to do with this? What's the style? These are all things, just to jot some notes down. I mean, you just don't spend too much time on it. And then, I thought I had the questions. Well, here's what I do have. Let me stop sharing. Let me go back here. Here we go. Okay.
Can I just ask, we set the context, this interview guide, who is being interviewed? Is everyone building their own digital twin?
Yep, you're being interviewed. That's for you.
So that's the guide, because I was just trying to put it into context. So
that's for you and whomever you are asking to interview you. So that's for the two of you to level set, because this does take time. Like I said, on average, it's about a 2-hour journey. So you either want to break it up half and half or just push on through. So those tips are really just a way to kind of get everybody on board, because it takes some time. So here's what this I will get to you guys right away. I can probably go make a copy of it and send it to you guys. But here's the point, okay? So you want to create what a structured interview, and I'm not looking at the screen, so if anybody has questions, I'm looking at this. So what a structured interview really means is you want categories. So these highlighted categories, and again, this is for the STEM arts program. So this was specific to this, but I have other ones I'll send out to you guys. You want to build questions and grow this. So think about all of the things. So you want to think about inspirations, relationships, all the different kind of things, and you see how this goes on and on. So the most important part of it is just really having these kind of categories. And let me ask right now, Vicki, what's the best way for me to, because I'm unprepared, I'm sorry, you all, but I will get you the thing, and that way you can use it as a jumping off point. You're going to have to work with AI to build those questions, but it's not going to be hard, because you're all users. I know you are. So you can get help and just have it start to build it out. But what you're looking for is, if you read through the kind of category list and you feel like, oh, this is missing, or I'd want that in there, yeah, add it. So that's the thing. Each time I do this, I have kind of a basic of categories like you just saw, and then I add in additional appropriate things. So questions. I feel like I've just been rattling. Yes.
Yeah, quick question. Once you do have your digital twin, and I'm talking about adding documents and things like that. So it's a two-part question. First, if it's a client-facing twin, I don't, because it's custom chat GPT, you can't see what customers are asking it or anything like that, right? So there's no way to kind of capture what other people are using the twin for or anything like that to help
Nope.
it, correct?
Nope.
Okay. So second part of the question is if you're using it, so you're talking to your twin, can you capture knowledge from that? And how would you go about capturing that knowledge to then kind of reintegrate it? Or does it do it automatically because you're having a conversation with that twin?
I think that second question you're asking, if it's yours and you're using it, how to capture?
Yeah. So for
Okay.
example, the twin gives you an answer and you're like, nope, that's not right. I think blah, 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 blah. So
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. So
does
then,
it automatically update or no?
no.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No. So if you're finding problems, like, and there's some things that, chat is just rogue anyway. Like I will put in my custom instructions, never use emojis. Cyndi would never use emojis. And I also have keywords that I would never use. It will still use them. And I will have to go, God damn it. And I'll go in there and I'll try to refresh the instructions. And because it's actually so important to me that nothing that ever comes out of me uses the word prediction, I'm seriously about this close, and I haven't done this, but I feel like I'm about to. I'm going to freaking upload into all of my GPTs and twins and everything, just a document that just repeated like a wallpaper. Never use the word prediction, never use predict, never use, because I cannot have that. I'm not like a crystal ball person. Because it's crap and it won't listen. So my best advice is keep your updates fresh, like as often as you can remember to, like, or you need to. I mean, if you don't need to, you don't need to. And then watch those custom instructions, because that's the only place you really have control if it's off the rails. And then if you find that it keeps saying something and you're like, why does it keep saying something? I would go reread your transcript. So that's the other thing I failed to say. After you record your interview and you go and transcribe it somewhere, I actually use a paid service because I have to have my stuff really clean. So, and I transcribe weekly. So I use a service called Temi. It's like 25 cents a minute. That can be a lot, but just saying what I use. So then after you transcribe, you have to go in and do what we call data hygiene. Data hygiene means go in there and make sure you did not say any words you didn't mean to say, because it sure will come out. And then what I would say too is if you're clear on your data hygiene and you know everything is comfortable, I mean, obviously don't worry about ums and ahs because AI doesn't care, but you can, that interview, you should have stored somewhere that you can also update it or add to it. So if you're finding that it's consistently doing something you don't like, pull that one down, go over to the original, add in a whole block that says, one thing I really hate is, or whatever, and then load it again. All right, 2 questions. I think Kay Hudson was first and then Vicky.
Okay, great. So love this. Yes, my custom instructions is often abused. I think that's a universal frustration. I think we see that in the chat too. So let's just say, for example, you want to create like a pseudo board of directors or board of advisors or something like that. Do they all have to be like published authors? Like how do we, any advice on capturing their true essence or expertise? I mean, obviously you could do like speaking engagements, things like that. Obviously it's going to be work Barbie, not personal. Like, how do we strike that balance of capturing some of the people that we work with or for, if we don't know them personally? Without
interviewing them?
No, interviewing them, yes. That would be part of, interviewing them, but we don't personally know them. We don't know like what their true essence is. Like, getting under the hood of like an executive would probably be weird. Like, how do we best do with what we have access to in a work setting? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm going to be honest. You can't cut it short. You got to get them to, otherwise you're just, again, making a you might as well just take their bio and
LinkedIn profile and all that.
and make a custom GPT. Then it's not a twin, is the thing.
Yeah, right.
And I can say that because we really have experimented for a year and a half, like every Friday with this crew. We have tried all the things because we are doing this for other people. So we really need to dig deep and do the full scale research. Now, I'll tell you, if you are going to do a suite, this is another thing that's really important. Make them all the same. So what I mean by that is everyone has the exact same elements and only those elements. So those 40, 35, 40, what we've done at Content Evolution, those do not get to have additional uploads. People are not allowed to upload their books or anything else. Those over there are all identical because we're running a model right now. And the model gives us data, and they have to be consistent and identical. So if you're going to build a suite for 5 or 6 people, you can't allow them to do different things. So you have to say the inputs are the same. We're going to choose an interview, a bio, and a CV or something, right? Or you know, and LinkedIn or something. But you have to structure them all the same because they will act really different. And then that suite of people will be like, what the hell? Mine does this and hers does that. So that's why the interview, when I say have a structured interview, everyone must be asked the same questions and go, you know, you don't necessarily have to go in order, but it is a little easier on the AI, I suppose, if you kind of put it. Yeah, but if you try to create it more khaki pants, like you'll just get the LinkedIn version.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Vicki.
My question is, I know we're 2 minutes. I'd like 2 minutes of time. No, it's 2 minutes till the end. But I'm happy to stay on if anyone else is, or whatever. If Cyndi, if you're available,
I can say too. More questions.
My question is, we talk a lot about creating the digital twins in custom GPTs. I'm just wondering, for people who don't have a paid subscription to ChatGPT, which, shock horror, I don't know. Is it possible to create them like in Gemini Gems or in another tool?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it is. It's just the sort of the structure of it isn't really the same. So the outcome isn't really the same. I mean, I think people should try. We've done the tests and the other stuff, and the results just aren't really the same. And I don't really know why. Like, I don't really know the interfacey stuff why, but I do know that everywhere else we've tried to pull this off, it's just not landing yet, you know? And that's why I also think making a bunch of these just to like get the run up is a really good idea, because somebody else has got to figure this out now that agents are coming, because this is just the prep work to build an agent. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I was hoping that, what is the Manos, the new one we're all hanging out on now? Because it's agentic. So I was kind of, and I'm excited about it. It does cool things, but it's a tasker. It's not a personality.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered. I did try a quick one in a Gemini Gem, but I don't use Gemini too often.
Me too.
And I noticed it was like I said, you know, it was just very quick and dirty. And I said, "Who are you?" And it just kept saying, "I'm Gemini." And I had in the instructions, "You are Vicki." And it was.
Yeah. We just, I mean, honestly, like, we ran around in the beginning, but it just, everything fell flat. And this isn't perfect either, because, you know, what would be perfect actually is to build your own on something totally running on its own, because regular ChatGPT is an interrupter. Like I said, even though I'll put inside, like, Cyndi never uses emojis, ChatGPT doesn't care some days. That's too bad for Cyndi. But, you know, and that's just sort of the bumps in the road right now. I can't So do know that it's not your work, because most of the time it'll work, but I still think there's just a lot of cleanup. Yeah,
You know what? That also could very well be, Cyndi, the world wants you to use emojis. It's time for you to change. Maybe that's what it's telling you.
I'm not doing it. I mean, I don't mind emojis if I'm texting with you, but I don't want them in anything I'm writing. You know? Okay, so where, Vicky, should I go and put a doc for folks? Because I saw people ask in chat, and I want to totally accommodate. I just got home. I was gone for 2 weeks, and so I just need like 30 minutes, and I'll clean.
That's why I didn't ask you before, because I thought you were still going to be away. So, you can put links in, like where the event is in the salon, in the chat in there. That's where I usually put like the recording of the presentation. And yeah, I think people can just, if it like your Google Docs, if you just, if they're view only, people can just copy them and then copy them to their own Google Docs and change them themselves.
Okay, so that's what I should do, is like a link to a open Google Doc. That's easiest.
Not open that people can, open that it's shared, but not that
the
people
viewer,
can,
right?
Yeah, view only. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will do that, y'all. I will do that. I have time. Anybody else have any other questions? I feel like I sort of whirlwind you through, but I at least got you the most important things, which is, I cannot stress enough that build out a juicy interview. And I mean, just really have AI help you. And the other thing I think right now that in these kind of instances, I actually think it would be a really good idea to, once you have this kind of category list that I'll share, I would go everywhere to all the different models and ask all of them to build you a structured interview. They all know what structured interview means, so they'll give you a series of questions under every category. I would run around everywhere, because I bet you'd get a bunch of interesting different stuff, and then you could pull the different pieces from everywhere and make yourself a final doc. That's what I would do right now. Yeah. And the interview inside the ones we use, we're just doing that as a client product, and it took us a long time to come up with those interview questions. So I'm not allowed to share, but you can do your own, and you don't need them. You can figure it out, and you know yourself. So that's the thing. We were trying to do it for a whole of a community. You're going to think about this first for yourself and mess around with it first before you're doing it with anybody else. So, okay.
Perfect.
This was really helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time, and Vicky for organizing as always. I really appreciate this.
Thanks to
yes. Oh man, I mean, I'm just such a nerd for all this stuff. I just love it so much that it's like, if I'm available, I'm always happy to like jump in and do anything, because here's the thing, as we all know, everything changes every Tuesday. So if you all go do this and then you find more things out and you report in, we're all better. So that's truly how I feel. And, I would like more people messing around with this stuff. I've been trying to, teach and train some folks, but it takes time. So I think people like the idea of it, but then it's like, you got to go build the interview, and then you got to go do the interview, and then you got to transcribe, and then you got to clean it up. So it's a little bit of a lift. And so I don't think a lot of people are onto it yet, but y'all should do it.
Absolutely. I'm just going to answer Serena and let you know that next weekend is going to be on Sunday, because I will be traveling on Saturday. And it is Midjourney, mood boards, chaos, all that kind of stuff, like the modifiers, Midjourney modifiers.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go get to work making you a little goodie.
Go get to work.
And
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks
so much.
everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.